What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today it is time for the Canadian Grand Prix. We currently sit 7th in the driver's standings after a very strong result in Monaco. I won't spoil what happened in that race, but you should go watch it if you haven't seen this episode. We've got a brand new engine upgrade as well, so that should help things heading into our qualifying session.
Good afternoon, and we hope you're ready for an exciting qualifying session as the teams make their final preparations here in Canada.
So, the Canadian Grand Prix, in the past, it's been a pretty strong circuit for me, so hopefully we can continue that trend, even though we're in a car that isn't too competitive, but we are slowly getting better with that engine upgrade, an 8%, an 8 horsepower increase in performance. And in qualifying here, you can see we get 7th initially, drop down to 9th by the end of the session, and that is us out of qualifying 1, through to qualifying 2, sorry. I'm not knocked out, I am through to the next session, thankfully, but we rejoin in the action in qualifying 2. I set a lap on the super soft tyres. That really didn't work out. The pace wasn't quite there, and the lap itself was pretty messy, it had to be said. So we're going out again on a brand new set of ultra soft tyres in an effort to get ourselves through to the final part of qualifying and also give us a nice fresh tyre to start the race on. So we'll see what happens as we come up to the final corner here, out of the Wall of Champions, which we don't manage to leave bits of our car left behind. It's only 13th place at the end of that lap, so that is definitely not good enough. We're going to have to go again and hopefully better our time. To be fair, our last lap was fairly average, especially through this last corner. We managed to take it much better this time, and we've already gained about a tenth and a half. As we come across the line, it isn't good enough, unfortunately, to get us through to qualifying 3. So we're going to be starting this Canadian Grand Prix from 12th place on the grid. We do have the choice, however, to utilise whatever tyre we want for the start of the race, and we may go for the super softs. Could even venture onto the soft tyres and possibly make a one-stop of this Canadian Grand Prix. So I'll take it. It's not the best results in the world, but considering we do have a free choice of tyre, it opens the race up in terms of flexibility and strategy. So yeah, we've just got to make the best of a bad situation here and hopefully get some more points in this race. It's time for the Canadian Grand Prix.
There is, as I look out of my commentary box window, a very large and very excited crowd here today, eagerly anticipating another memorable race.
Here we are then for the Canadian Grand Prix, round number 7 here of Season 3. For the first time in what feels like a very long time, we have a dry race. So fingers crossed it stays that way for the duration. We're going to be starting on the soft compound tyres to play the long game. 5 red lights and away we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. I don't expect the start to be anything fantastic, and it's not really. The fact that we're holding position, actually gaining position now into turn 1, is a pretty successful start so far. Into 9th place, seeing if we can go around the outside of Nico Hulkenberg in the Force India, which is a very, very fast car in Season 3, I must say. But either way, we carry on to the middle sector. Perez has actually made contact with the wall after being squeezed out there by Carlos Sainz, and now we might try and shape a move up the inside of him, possibly, if we can find a way around him. I don't know if I mentioned this in this video yet, but I am running with a very low downforce, so it's aimed to be very, I don't know, it's going to really help with our overtaking and also defending in the race with a very powerful slipstream on this game. So we utilised that to good effect. We got up the inside of Carlos Sainz, had a very bad exit off of the final chicane, but we held that position. Lap 2, you can see all the leaders here getting tangled up with each other, lost about 2 or 3 seconds, and now they're falling into the clutches of the midfield runners. And yeah, we made so much ground on that. It's quite embarrassing how much ground we actually made up there into P5, and now we're going to be putting pressure on Lewis Hamilton and also Kimi Raikkonen in the Ferrari. So with this low downforce, all we got to do is stay within 1 second of these faster cars, and we should be able to run with them for the rest of this race, maybe even overtake them like we're doing to Hamilton right here, into 4th place. And now we're only a stone's throw away from getting on the podium but Hamilton has a little bit to say about that. Up the inside, into the hairpin, and he's back into P4. So we've got to keep this clean. We've got to make sure we don't lose too much time. Try and maximize the corners if we can, and then we're going to let our straight line speed do the talking when it comes to overtaking and also defending our position. On this attempt, we've actually gone into lean revs. I didn't have DRS. I only utilized the slipstream, and I was almost able to overtake Hamilton. I had to lift off there on the throttle to avoid running into the back of him, because I wanted to stay with this lead group and not lose too much time because the Ferraris got out of DRS range. Meanwhile, there was another car that had a car that had, you know, a puncture or something like that. No safety car, but we do have the likes of Raikkonen right in front of us, going very slowly. I'm not too sure if he got tangled up with that car that had a puncture or not, but the engineer is reporting that Raikkonen is going slower than normal. And now we're going to find a way around him into P4. Hamilton actually got in front of him as well after he broke away from me. And now we're in front of Raikkonen. It was Rio Harriento who had the puncture. And now Rio is out of the race with an engine failure. Off to the side of the track, he's pulled away. And I'm hoping that there might be a safety car so that we could possibly get onto the super soft tyres or even the ultras to bunch up the field and maybe attack the front-running guys in this race. But at the moment, we're still, you know, trying to put in the best laps we can on the soft compound tyres. We're under attack here from Perez on the ultra soft tyres, a much faster car on a much faster compound, and so I'm just doing my absolute best to keep these guys behind me. It's really just the straight line speed, really, that's keeping me in the game here from being overtaken. So long as I can just maintain that track position on the straights, these guys really aren't going to overtake me and what the hell? Overtake me? Nah, it's in the dictionary, I promise you, look it up. Either way, final corner, and Perez was trying to have a lunge around the outside there, but he couldn't make anything of it.
Our gap to the car in front is 16.5 seconds. You're losing around 1.6 seconds. They're on old ultra softs.
Okay, so the scenario as it stands at the moment, Verstappen is a few seconds up the road, and the guys on the ultra soft tyres are about to be making their stops. In fact, they're making them right now. That's Ricciardo and also Sergio Perez making the switch onto the soft compound tyres. Verstappen has also made his stop by the time that we've made it to this clip, and he's actually rejoined in the lead of this Canadian Grand Prix. So we still hold down second place at the moment on the soft compound tyres. Felipe Massa has a puncture of some kind. And that's definitely going to slow up the guys behind. It's really slowed up Ricciardo, who just completely smashes into the back of him. He's got to come back in for a front wing change, surely.
Virtual safety car. Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta.
Yeah, so no full safety car, only a virtual one to maybe clear up the debris and the damage caused by Felipe Massa and also Daniel Ricciardo's front wing scattering everywhere. But we're about to rejoin in the race once again. And we still haven't made our first pit stop. We'll be making that in the, I don't know, mid-20s of the lap counter. But meanwhile, we've got Sebastian Vettel on fresh soft tyres trying to attack me, trying to get into second place to try and chase down Max Verstappen for this race win. But he's got a lead of 10 seconds, something like that. He'll be lapping very considerably faster than what I will be at the moment. I'm just really trying to hold on to position. The longer I can keep these guys behind me, the easier it's going to be for me to overtake them at the back end of the race, especially if there's a safety car. As soon as there's a safety car, I'm diving into the pits for either super softs or the ultra softs, depending on how late this safety car comes out. So fingers crossed it can really work for us.
We'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in our strategy. Your pit window opens next lap.
So in terms of waiting for this safety car window, we are running out of time to almost get that free pit stop. That'd be the absolute perfect time to make the switch and gain and lose as little time as possible. But meanwhile, we are battling away with Lewis Hamilton just about to come into the pits. I think we will be doing that at the end of this straight. So battling away here for track position is pretty much irrelevant. I'm going to leave Hamilton and Vettel to battle away while we dive into the pits. We're going to be putting on the ultra soft tyres, and that's a very, I don't know, satisfying feeling when you just break on the limit of grip and just manage to pull it up in time to slow down for the pit box, for the pit lane there without speeding. But onto the ultra soft tyres, we should easily be able to make it to the end now. This is our recommended pit stop lap. So we're going to be considerably faster than everyone else on the grid, apart from maybe the Red Bulls if they get their engine out of standard revs. But we continue on to lap 26. This is our first flying lap, and we've got the slipstream of Kimi Räikkönen to pull us along right to the point where we get DRS on the back straight, and we should be able to fly past him with ease here with our low drag setup. We saw past him into P7. It was actually a bit of a struggle there to pull up for the final chicane there, but we managed to do that without cutting any corners. And up to the line, we should absolutely demolish the fastest lap, and we managed to do that. 112.7. I don't know if that's going to be matched for the rest of this. Never mind. Vettel absolutely smashes it himself with a 1 minute 12.2. So we're going to have to defend from him in the dying laps of this Grand Prix. He's made a strategy change going onto the ultra soft tyres. So very interesting to see that a couple of cars have actually made a second stop here. I thought everyone was going to be one stopping, basically doing the opposite to what I was doing. Just starting on the ultra softs and then finishing on the softs. There have been some punctures today, so maybe some teams are going a little bit safe here, trying to prevent their positions being thrown away by some kind of failure in the tyres. And speaking of failure in the tyres, we've got another one. This is a Renault who's got a right rear puncture. I don't know where they're all coming from, to be honest, because Canada really isn't a high tyre wear circuit, so it's very, very odd to see. But at the moment, penultimate lap, we're in P5 at the moment, trying to chase down Sergio Perez, who is only just up the road, only a few seconds up the road, and actually Hulkenberg makes his stop on the last lap, coming onto the last lap of the Canadian Grand Prix for a new set of tyres. I don't know what the logic is behind that, but now we're in P4 and very, very close to getting on the podium. But Vettel has just got a really nice exit there. We're ping-ponging on the run into the second last chicane. And we actually make contact again through the right-hander, trying to go around the outside.
If I don't avoid that, he's just going straight for my car. Honestly, what are we doing? Racing or ping-pong?
I'm going to say the latter, Sebastian, but this race isn't over yet. Get off the radio. You've got a position to find with only a few corners left to go in this race. When you look at the replay, it looked very, very bad from my onboard. I was just kind of getting sucked back into the right-hand side of the track where Vettel was, but as we head into the final corner now, we should have this covered with Sebastian Vettel. On the run up to the line, it's going to be 4th place in this Canadian Grand Prix, and that is a bit of revenge on Vettel after what he did to me in Monaco.
Really well. Super driving.
And I can see now the drivers are making their way out. We need Red Bull fighting at the front. They do an incredible amount for Formula One, and that's another winner's trophy heading back to Milton Keynes.
So there we go, guys. That has been the Canadian Grand Prix for Season 3 of F1 2016 Career Mode. Max Verstappen took out the race win in the end there. I couldn't really see anyone else challenging him after the sizable lead he got after the first stint. I really did help him in trying to win that race. The gap to everyone else was quite substantial, 17 seconds. We did the best we could with an interesting strategy, starting on the soft compound tyres, and the amount of holding up we did help us at the back end in trying to chase down a few cars. I could have been a little bit quicker, and that might have helped me getting a podium and chasing down, I think it was Sergio Perez in the end, but we just missed out by a few seconds and ended up in 4th place. Today, I was really just trying to make a statement, trying to show other teams what I was capable of, especially with Ferrari. The fact that I finished ahead of both the Ferraris, I believe, both the Ferraris, it's just a message saying, what I can do, because we do have a contract negotiation coming up after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So with the links that we have to Ferrari, being a Ferrari-powered car, we might be able to switch teams after the next episode. So we'll have to wait and see. Given that we might be switching teams, I decided to just spend all the resource points that I had on the fuel efficiency, because it might be the last race that I have with the team. So I don't know what's going to happen yet. I'm going to try and do the best job I can heading into the next race in Azerbaijan, and trying to get one last points finish for Haas, potentially before getting another offer from another team. Fingers crossed it's a top team, one that we can really challenge the front with and threaten Red Bull with to try and win the Constructors, but that all remains to be seen. I may not even get a contract offer, so we'll have to wait and see for the next episode in Baku. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave a like if you did, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 content, And until the next video, guys, I'll see you next time.